Okay, so you dropped out of high school and you want to know what's going to happen in your life. So that's the topic of this video. And let me just cut right to the chase and give you the 10-second version of this video. What happens in your life is going to be completely and totally up to you. Okay. So there's not going to be any secret revelations or anything else beyond that main statement that I'm telling you. Hey, life, what happens in life is going to be up to you. Now, of course, things happen to us in life, okay? And then we have to choose how we're going to react to them. But with that aside, really what I want to focus in on this particular video is what really goes through a person's head when he didn't get their high school diploma. Okay, now this is I'm going to kind of generalize here, but with working with so many people, and I'm talking people from 18 years old to 65 plus, that have not gotten their high school diploma and are going back to school to get their GED or their HISET or their TASC exam completed. You could pick up on these trends. Plus, just knowing a lot of people personally who have not finished high school. All right, so you see a lot of these trends, and so hopefully, if this resonates with you, the whole purpose of this video is to give you some motivation and encouragement. Okay, so let's kind of draw a little stick figure here, just kind of like to use a little stick figure as an illustration of what I want to talk about. Okay, so first thing is this. Do you need a high school diploma? Do you need to finish high school to be successful? The answer is no. Okay. So, I'm not saying you shouldn't get one, all right? But you still can have no high school. Let's do it this way and be totally successful. Successful in all ways, financially, physically, your family, etc. Okay. But the people like that who have found success without their high school diploma, that's really the exception. Okay. But people that are successes in life, happy and fulfilled, education is not going to define them, anyways, right? So, whether it's their faith or maybe they're an entrepreneur or whatever the case is, they're driven people. So these are the type of people that can be successful in any setting. So it's just like society, you have a lot of people who've gotten, college degrees or aren't successful. So I want to kind of establish that this point, okay? Education, let's kind of do this over here. Education does not necessarily mean more like happiness, all right? Not necessarily. The more education you have, the more happiness you can obtain. Not there's no such correlation. Okay, so what's the whole idea of education, and why do people kind of make a big deal out of it? Well, it is important because although not necessarily the more education you have, the more happiness you're going to have, but really it's the more opportunities you're going to have. Okay, now what you do with an opportunity is going to determine your happiness. Okay, so I think that's the kind of correlation. The more education you have, the more opportunities you're going to have in life. So, so with that out of the way, if you're watching this video and you're saying, "Well, I don't have my high school diploma. I'm a high school dropout. My life is great," then I give you a lot of credit for that, and quite frankly, you can just stop watching this video and kind of move on with your life. But I don't think that you, as the individual, listening or watching this video, would recommend that to somebody saying, "Hey, drop out of high school. High school didn't help me. School didn't help me. Just go right off and become a success." Very, very difficult to do. Now, I want you to notice something, that the title of this video is high school dropout, all right? If I change this title of this video to college dropout, this thing completely changes, okay? There is plenty of examples of people who dropped out of college who are, billionaires. Take Bill Gates, for example, of Microsoft, or Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, etc., especially in today's generation with all the technology we have. So college, that's a different deal. That's why I wanted to establish that necessarily more education doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to just be happier. Um, Now, there is a correlation to making money in your life, okay? Especially if you don't have a high school diploma. Just by simple statistics out there, if you don't have a high school diploma, on average, you're going to make far less than somebody who does, okay? So, this is kind of what I want to get into next in the video. Um, so let's get back to what happens in your life if you don't have a high school diploma. Well, for the majority of people, I think this holds true. Okay, so I wanted to get out there that there are exceptions to what I'm going to say. Now I'm going to get into probably what is generally true for most people without a high school a diploma or dropped out of high school. They're going to carry with them a lot of mental and financial, okay, kind of, probably spelled that wrong, but that's okay, uh, baggage with them, if you will, right? Psychological effects, mental. Let's focus on that because personally, I think that's the biggest impact in someone's life. I know a lot of people did not finish high school, okay, and eventually got their GED or high school equivalency. But let me tell you something, they struggled for years. They had a lot of insecurities about, hey, I dropped out of high school. It played on their brain. It's like it took away. It was like a negative energy. It really it made them more insecure about themselves. Um, and it kind of, it took space in their brain. It was just like this thing running in their background. So now this can happen for many years. I've talked to people who are in their 60s, okay, and beyond, because these people actually have to go back and get their GEDs or high school equivalency just to, compete in today's job market. So you just imagine that. Let's say you're 60 years old. Okay, let's just make the math easy. Let's go from 20 to 60. All right, years old. All right, this time gap. That's 40 years. 40 years of self-doubt or maybe insecurity or deep down, inside you have regret. That is a long, long time. That is more than probably half of your lifetime, you know, and you got these kind of thoughts floating around in your head. And it's so simple to just be like, cut that thought process off. It does take, some investment in yourself, but if you're going to invest anywhere, the best investments are not in the stock market or real estate. The best investment by far is in yourself. And you're not going to have any better return on your investment than peace of mind. Okay. So if you're, a high school dropout, don't brand yourself as I am a high school dropout. I dropped out of high school. You're giving yourself this brand. It's wreaking havoc on your self-confidence, your self-image. Okay. Whether you want to maybe admit it or not, because maybe if you, do have a strong outward self-image, you dress well, you look good, you're physically fit, you're doing some sort of a career that you like. In the background, you probably have some insecurities about this, and this is what gets me about where people's priorities are. If they spent 1 year watching like 50% less of Netflix, maybe not even 1 year, like 6 months, just cut your TV time in half or your internet time in half, you will have your high school equivalency. And then you won't have to suffer for 40 years, beyond. What do you tell your kids? What do you tell your grandkids? What do you tell your cousins who come to you for advice or your friends? You don't want to walk around with that, okay? So even if you're a big success and you have your high school diploma, trust me, I really, well, don't trust me, trust yourself. I think you should just get it done. Take care of it. Now, of course, this is different again than say going to college. Hey, get your high school diploma, et cetera, et cetera. I don't even, my own son, um, he went to college for like a year and a half. It wasn't for him, and I didn't push him beyond that anymore because if college, if someone's not feeling college in terms of, hey, they want to get their degree and they really know what they want to do, then that's not necessarily the best route to go. There's a lot of different opportunities to be a success in life. However, you do need a minimum level of education, in my opinion, and that is your high school diploma, okay, or high school equivalency. So now let's talk about the second thing here, and that is the financial or the money impact. Okay, it used to be years ago, and I've done a lot of. If you follow me on YouTube, I've done a lot of videos on this, but it's kind of stating the obvious. Years ago, you didn't necessarily need a high school diploma to get into a lot of good paying careers. Okay. You can get into, let's say, a union, trades, plumbing, etc. Let's say 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and have done very, very well for yourself, financially speaking. But more and more, these opportunities are decreasing. They're not completely gone. Okay, you can still be a high school diploma, a high school dropout, and still find these opportunities, but it's getting more difficult. A lot of trade schools, for example, require you to have your high school equivalency. Okay, your GED or your HISET, your TASC, all that stuff taken care of before they'll allow you to get into their school. I think pretty sure about the military as well. There's a lot of places that provide a good start for young people are, that we just simply require you to have a high school level education. Not only that, employers, okay, I tell you, if you just, let me just state this. I'm going to provide a link in a description below if you need help, with, if you want to go ahead and get your GED, your TASC, or HISET completed. I'll leave a link below so you can kind of check out my courses. The number one reason people struggle to get these statistically get these tests taken care of is the math section. Okay, that's where most people fail. So that's my focus on. So if you want to learn from me and take my courses, which have been extremely successful, you can check out the link below. But I wanted to get that out of the way, is because I work with serving a lot of the people through many years, getting their GED or their TASC or their HISET. I get a lot of feedback. I get a lot of responses, emails. People tell me their personal stories, and it just blows my mind in terms of what's kind of what I'm seeing is to be a more of a trend taking place, and that is a lot of people are writing me and are saying, "Hey, my job is requiring me to get my GED," and it's kind of out of the blue, or they want to see my HISET or my TASC or whatever, and now they're kind of caught off guard, and it's like they're changing the job requirement on you. They're making it kind of mandatory. So I wouldn't assume anything in this day and age, especially how competitive the economy is and how selective employers are becoming. You don't want to just assume that, hey, one day your employer is not going to ask for your GED, or hey, we're going through HR, we're going through your records, we couldn't find your high school diploma, can you provide that for us, blah 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 blah. These are the kind of things the stories that are kind of that I'm seeing occurring. So if that strikes a little fear or anxiety in you, you want to do that, you want to use that as leverage to get to take care of this. Okay, I don't want to use the word or make a judgment against you personally, saying, hey, that you're lazy or your priorities are all are incorrect. But quite frankly, you really got to start thinking about how are you spending your time. Are you investing in yourself? It's like, you know if you're investing in yourself, learning things, improving your skills and whatnot, then that's great. But if you haven't taken care of your high school diploma or your high school equivalency, I think that's a pretty darn good place to start, just to take care of. And it doesn't have to take forever to do. Okay, you just simply have to make a decision that you're going to do it, make a commitment that you're going to do it, and then just start doing it. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second here. But financially speaking, on average, the difference between a high school diploma and someone with no high school diploma, and this is just rough statistics, is the difference of $10,000 per year. Okay, $10,000 per year. On average, back in the 2012 U.S. Census, I think the average high school graduate was making around 30K, right? So that means somebody with no high school is making around 20K. A 20K a year is really, you can't really live on that. Pay rent, food, your cell phone, your car insurance, that you just can't make it on that. 30,000 per year, you could probably just be getting by, you know, in most cities. Okay, so we're talking. It's a big difference. Now, of course, these are average numbers, but the average statistics, that means there's millions of people that are falling into one of these two categories. So you tell me, you know, how the regret starts to pile up. Okay. Well, now, of course, again, there's exceptions to this, but now you have this mental regret and now you have this financial impact. I mean, that's a huge penalty to pay for not finishing up your high school. Okay. Again, it doesn't have to take forever. Like literally, probably for most people, within 6 months, you can have your high school equivalency if you really buckle down and focus. That 6 months is going to pass anyways. Okay. So, it just makes sense to do and to get it out of the way. So hopefully, you're getting something from this video that, hey, just because you dropped out of high school doesn't mean you're a high school dropout, if you understand what I'm saying, right? You labeled yourself, I'm a high school dropout. You give this yourself, oh, no, it doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so what's going to happen to your life? Well, it's totally up to you. But when you have millions and millions of people that are suffering psychologically from not finishing high school and having a negative impact financially, then, why don't you increase the odds for yourself? Okay. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And I'm going to leave a link in the description in my video here that you can come to I run the TabletClass Academy. I offer various different courses. I have one on GED, the HISET, the TASC, a lot of other tests as well, but they're very effective. You can go there, check it out at your leisure. But again, I'll leave the link in the description below. But I just want to, before I get into ending up my video here, finishing up, look, when it comes to math, all right, for the GED or the HISET or the TASC exam, there is a lot of stuff you need to know. Okay, you need to know a lot of algebra. You need to know a lot of geometry. Okay, a lot of things. Okay, do you really want to face this on your own? I mean, you have a couple choices here, right? Let's just break it down this way. There's 3 things you can do. 1, 2, 3. Your first choice, okay, is to do nothing. You can be like, well, yeah, I understand this video, I understand what this guy is saying, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to just gamble with maybe, potentially a lot of mental regret and financial regret. So that's not a good option. I hope you don't do that, okay? The second thing is you can just do this on your own. You can try to learn everything on your own. That's a lot. That's a lot to do. Okay, there's a lot of different. You think about it, algebra and geometry. That's at least a couple years of high school mathematics. But to do well in there, you need to know like middle school math. That is a lot of stuff you need to learn on your. And if you do this on your own, this is where people get discouraged. I think is they start learning and they're like, oh man, they give up, if you will, because it starts to get difficult. And quite frankly, there is a good amount of material you do need to learn and understand to pass these exams. Back in 2014, they made these exams more challenging, more comprehensive, which I think is a good thing. So they truly, there really will be algebra and geometry on these exams. It's not like they're just putting it out there. Hey, learn. They're trying to scare you, and then when you go take the exam, you don't really have to know this stuff. No, you do have to have a pretty good level of understanding. So that's your second option, is to try to learn all this on your own. Or the third thing is you can basically use a good proven system or program, something like maybe my program, for example, something that not streamlines things, but packages things together in a real effective way. When it comes to math, you really do want to learn from a math teacher, okay, and someone that you can like and understand. So hopefully, you kind of resonate with my teaching style. But if we don't, find another teacher, okay, or go to your local adult education classes in your community. But connect with someone who can kind of act as a shortcut. But anyways, I have a lot of passion in my videos here because we're talking about people's lives. And when I get some testimonials back from people who have passed and they're moved on with their life. It's a pretty wonderful thing, and I want that for you as well. So, if you kind of like my message, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do a lot of this type of stuff, and remember to hit that bell notification so you can get my latest video updates. And then if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please leave comments. I get a lot of comments on my videos. I try to read as many as possible, but it gives me ideas to make videos on things that maybe you're thinking about. But anyways, I hope you got something really valuable out here. I want to wish you all the best. If you haven't finished your high school, I just really encourage you to do so. Okay. But anyways, with that being said, thanks for your time and have a great day.